Well, we are in an Airbnb and the chairs aren't the greatest. They're from IKEA.
So we thought that spending a month in a small town in Ontario outside of Toronto would be a really great idea. And it was, and there were some surprises that we had. I'm Erin.
I'm Max.
This is Griffin, curled up on the couch. We've been slow traveling across Canada, trying to figure out where the next place that we're going to live is going to be after we sold all of our stuff in the United States and moved up to Canada. So we're going to walk you through all about our first month, our daily lives, what it looked like landing here, what Grimsby was like, what it was like commuting in and out of Toronto to see stuff in the city, our Airbnb adventures, and if we would come back again. So we just spent a full month in Grimsby. It's a small town in between Toronto and Niagara Falls.
It does seem like we're a little isolated in a lot of ways.
By all standards, it's very small. It's about 27,000 people. For context, we just moved from Roanoke, Virginia, which is about a little less than 100,000 people, which we had gotten kind of used to beautiful mountains and lots of green spaces. And I will say Grimsby is pretty great actually about green spaces. We ended up being only about a mile walk from the lake, which became one of our favorite dog walks. It was absolutely awesome to get to see the ways that the lake changed every day. Some days it was really beautiful and really flat. Some days it was super like turbulent. And I didn't know that lakes could have waves like that because I've never been on a lake this big before. There are a lot of parks and a lot of places that you can take your dog. There's a lot of places that kind of become sort of like off-leash dog parks. So we did really appreciate that there were a lot of green spaces in Grimsby. It was also easier in the city than for parking too. There's a lot of parking in Grimsby. And we got lucky that we had parking right behind our Airbnb. So if you are coming to Grimsby with a car, you won't have any problems. There's a lot of free lots that you can park in as well. So we found that to be really great.
I was surprised to see that there were sidewalks to get to anywhere in Grimsby. It seemed like we could get all the way to the lake. There was all sidewalks on both sides of the road. It just seemed really walkable for the most part.
And we really honestly didn't need to use our car most days, except for when like Max went to the gym at the YMCA and whenever we were going in and out of the city and use the car to like get our groceries or something. But there were plenty of places to go get groceries. One of our favorite stores we lovingly started calling Mad Cat. I don't even know the real name.
It's Giant Tiger.
Giant Tiger, yeah.
Discount store.
Yeah, so there are great coffee shops. One of our favorite coffee shops that we found here in Grimsby is Station 1. They have a beautiful outdoor patio, which unfortunately is just now really getting started with springtime. But they also have a great co-working space, super fast internet, great coffee, great snacks, and they host a lot of different events like trivia and other things that we loved about Grimsby. There's a romantasy bookshop that was actually right next to our Airbnb that was super precious.
What a surprising thing to find.
What a surprising thing to find. It's very lovely when you walk inside. It looks kind of like fairyland, and there's all different kinds of like romance novels, dark fantasy romance, there's LGBTQ books, there's a little bit of everything. The shop owners are super nice.
And they were very helpful for both of us to find something that we were both interested in.
And we managed to make it out with only buying one book apiece. So we were really, really proud of that. There's so many other things that we didn't get to do around here because we were working and not just on vacation. But I do think that, you know, there's a lot to do outside of it. And then Grimsby does some fun things too. We actually were really surprised around Easter. They did a cute little community Easter festival. Kids dressed up with cute little rabbit ears, basically
their little baskets going to each shop.
Like trick-or-treating almost for Easter candy. And it seems like Grimsby does a lot. But our favorite place in Grimsby by far is the Grimsby Library that was across the street from our Airbnb. After I dealt with the most ridiculously bad desk chair of all time, I knew I needed to find someplace else to work, and I love, love, love libraries. And the Grimsby Library across the street has gorgeous work facilities. They have sit-to-stand desks, very comfortable chairs. They even have a fireplace, which was really great because it got pretty cold here, even though it's springtime. Beautiful library. They have a lot going on. And Max actually ended up finding a class there.
Yeah, so I was trying to figure out what could I do that would be fun that I haven't been able to do in a while. And I started looking at community events, and And Grimsby, it just so happened the entire month we were here, there was a once a week, 2-hour watercolor class. It covered all the equipment and all the supplies that I needed to start this class. It was just really surprising to find, I don't know, something like that in a small town.
So we would definitely say, like, as you're traveling, I always recommend checking out the library, whether that's you need a quiet place to go, you need a free place to pee in the city,
Yeah.
whether that's you are looking for stuff to do, and it's a community center. So if you are feeling like you're trying to figure out exactly what to do, starting with your library or your local parks and rec for wherever you happen to be is a great place to find good ideas, friendly people, and maybe a good book or a good place to sit.
Yeah.
We did have our car here.
Was farther than we needed it to be from Toronto.
Most of the times that we needed to go into the city, it was about anywhere between a 45-minute to an hour and a half drive. Never really knew what was going to happen with Toronto traffic. There was one attempt using the public transportation system that Max made while I had to make an unexpected trip back to Virginia.
Yeah.
And it was not the most commuter friendly.
I've never really been to a large city where you're using public transportation every single day. I've had experiences in Boston. So Aaron dropped me off in Toronto. I walked for probably an hour and a half away from where I had started. I started looking at the maps because there's a train station in Grimsby. You can't just take the train from Toronto to Grimsby. How would I get back to Grimsby from Toronto? I ended up having to take a 45-minute train to a bus for almost another hour and a half. And then it stopped me about an hour's walk to our apartment, our Airbnb. So overall, it was like 2 hours or more just to get from Toronto to Grimsby.
And to be fair, this is our first time. So like any of you folks out there that know the secret tips from getting from Grimsby to Toronto, feel free to say something in the comments section. But all in all, it was just not a really commuter friendly city. It's not a place that I would say if you were hoping to go into the city on a regular basis that I would go.
Like we said, we're 45 minutes from Niagara, which was really nice to go visit for the day because it was my first time there.
Oh my gosh, and the falls are so
They're
lovely.
so pretty.
Can't go without saying that, you know, there's a lot of stuff to do around Grimsby.
Yeah.
If you want a good jumping off point, we actually took the day to go to Niagara on the lake. We got to have like really tasty food. We have a special demonstration by a hat shop, then got to drive along the river all the way down to the falls. There's a botanical garden we didn't get to see, but we hope to see maybe next month. And then, yeah, it was Max's first time seeing the falls.
Yeah.
We even found a super secret free parking spot, which if you leave a little comment, maybe I'll tell you. That was only about 25 minutes from the falls. So that was really nice. And it's dog friendly. You can take your dog to the falls, no problem. But then there's the Airbnb.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say when you stay in Airbnbs, most of the time you're not doing 30 days or more at a time. It's usually like, I don't know, I think a week or two, and you're like kind of crashing while you're doing something, whether it's work, a conference, maybe you're traveling to visit family or friends.
Or actually taking a vacation,
Yeah.
which this was not.
But they didn't have anything that you might need to store food. They didn't have enough bowls for us to eat out of. So
And then the series of like sort of not being as enchanted with it started to hit us. First, like faucet knob came off in the bathroom and the cooktop light on the stove wouldn't go off.
Right.
And the dryer squeaked anytime you try to dry clothes. The bringing of spring, we noticed that every single insect that you could think of that could come into a place started coming in. There were gnats, there were stink bugs, there were spiders, truly more than we had expected. We were in an Airbnb that was neighboring with many other Airbnbs in this particular building. We did unfortunately have an incident where we got home one night to find a very large, very angry Airbnb neighbor yelling at our dog through the door, who was terror barking on the other side, which meant that we spent the rest of our trip, basically one of us being home with the dog almost the entire time, until we found Bark Buddies in Toronto.
Yep. We were looking for doggy daycare or maybe a dog sitter or rover, something like that nearby. So if we wanted to go into the city for the day to explore and not have to worry about, can we eat inside this restaurant? Can we go in and have a coffee? Can we go look at a bookstore or CN Tower? Because that would be difficult with the dog. I started researching in Toronto so we could drop him off, then we explore for the day. And we found Bark Buddies. They specialize in small dogs under 40 pounds. Most of their dogs are like under 30 pounds.
Yeah, so we're really excited when we come back through here in June. Griffin's definitely going to spend some time at doggy daycare and maybe also board a few nights so that we can go out and enjoy some things for Pride. Shout out to Bark Buddies. They took excellent care of Griffin. They send you pictures at the end of the day. They were really good about dealing with us thinking we were going to come in at one time and being late because we were navigating traffic. We're really glad. And that was definitely one of the things about traveling with the dog, that we were not expecting him to have as much anxiety, because he used to be a dog that we could just leave at home and he'd be fine. And so Griffin's also feeling the decompression, but I think now he's doing pretty well. He might be on a little bit of trazodone at the moment while we're getting ready to leave. But if you are going to be traveling with a pet, to like keep in mind that you are going through different things and your pet's also experiencing those when you're traveling.
Griffin really enjoyed all of the walks that we've done, going to get to sniff. And I think those have really helped with him transitioning from being a house dog, you know, with a yard and going to do his own thing and maybe a mile walk a day to kind of let him sniff and explore. And
I think we actually went from like an average of 1 to 2 miles a day in Roanoke to 5 to 6 here. So I'm really interested to see like how it goes for some of our other stays.
Yeah.
I think another piece about being in Grimsby that we could not go without saying is that we were coming to Grimsby after a really huge life transition.
Yeah.
So it is possible that we didn't have necessarily the best outlook on some stuff, because it was a major decompression time. We just sold our house, sold most of the things that we own, packed up all of our things, and oh my God, did we overpack.
The car was super packed.
We actually ended up taking at least a couple of bags to the local thrift store here. When I had to make an unexpected trip home, we took some stuff back home to put into storage. We are definitely leaving with less stuff than we came with.
Right. I mean, when we say we got rid of everything, we sold our furniture, sold everything in the house, packed up really big essentials to be stored, and packed our car full of everything that we thought we might need for the next, 6 months or so.
And left the United States for the first time. This is our very first month in Canada doing the slow travel thing. Take all this with a grain of salt. Perhaps if it had been, not the first month that we had left, not where we had gone from like springtime in Virginia to still pretty much the end of winter. We had a few snow days here. It's impossible for us to disentangle that we had just given up our whole life to move here. I think that colored the whole experience, but all in all, I'd still say it was successful.
If you're curious about how much we spent over the month while we were in Grimsby, we made a video detailing everything from the Airbnb costs, grocery shopping for the week, and also how much we spent on going out to dinner or in coffee shops and such in the area.
So all in all, Grimsby gave us some really sweet moments, but it also showed us a lot of all the different things that I think that we really want to have more of. So as we make our way across Canada, if you're interested in seeing that journey and coming along with us while we figure out where we're going to move, I hope that you will like and subscribe. And thanks for being here.
Thanks.